listen to us tonight. Thank you.
John, I'd like to say something. Can I say something?
Sure.
This property is zoned R2, which means we're going to develop over there. The question is, in R3, you're going to put it in maybe 5 or 6 acres. R2, it can be spread all over. So that's the decision you have to make. Because because of the R2, we're allowed to go forward and develop this property. So you have to decide, do you want an R2 or R3? It's our property, we have a right to sell it. We understand all of you, and we do have compassion for you. We're trying to get rid of most of our properties. This is gonna go right back on the market as an R2, if you decide not to do R3, which makes the community much smaller on that 18 acres in the R2.
And to discuss that,
Pardon?
we understand that, and we know that there are prospects that are really interested, and one is shared. They take great pride in the history of the Pentelli history.
I'm not talking about the Pentelli history. I'm talking about the difference between R2 and R3. It has nothing to do with the Pentelli
Right.
history.
And they want, the R2 would be satisfied.
Wendy? Hi, Wendy Dice. So it's my understanding that it's 92 acres that are being sold.
No.
19 acres, I'm sorry, and it's assessed at $73,000 for in that market. Anyhow, I took the liberty of going online to different real estate agencies. We have 317 Front Street, the Ford home, taxes are $11,000. 314 Main Street, once again, the taxes are $11,000. And these are our like quarter-acre lots. And so it's, unless I'm misunderstanding something, these people are not, the developer is not going to be paying their fair share of taxes in this community. And I don't care who they're building it for. I don't care if it's low income, high income. That's not my issue. My issue is paying your fair share of taxes. And so I'm speaking specifically more to the developer. And if they don't pay their fair share of taxes, every property owner in Owego, taxes go up. And when every property owner's taxes go up, that means those who have rental properties, those renters' rents go up as well. And so if anyone wants to look at the list, I have many, many more houses there who are paying $8,000, $7,000 on Front Street. You know, it's, I just feel that this is ridiculous, and I'm not sure how we can even think about this. The Owego Squad is up at Owego Gardens 3 times a day. And you're talking about putting in how many more units? I mean, they're running on a shoestring. What do they have, like $30,000 left in the sweep fund? We hardly have enough police to take care of the village that we have now. Now they're going to have to go across the river and take care of these people too. I mean, this is just not a recipe that I think our community wants to get involved with. Thank you.
So I guess I'll interrupt here and just kind of remind everybody that the village board itself has zero approval whether this project gets, the village board has zero approval whether this project gets built or not built. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose is whether the land gets rezoned or not, which would ultimately make it easier or tougher for the developer to develop. But they can still develop if they choose. It's private sellers selling to another private party. The village itself has zero stake in the game. So it's kind of out of our hands. Even if we all say no, they can still go forward and put the same
At a
project.
much higher cost.
At a much higher cost,
Right.
Mayor.
That's what it sounds like. Nick, did you want to add something?
I got one more piece of just points that were kind of fired around. I'll be quick because I know I've gone twice now. So the village tax base has been about $110 million and it's been flat since about 2011, since the flood. I mean, maybe 0.5% here, 0.5% there, but flat. For the near future, unless somebody's got a reason that I don't know about, it's not going to be going up anytime soon in any large portions. It's flat. We got to get more taxes in here. We got to get more higher cost buildings in here paying taxes. For about the last 4 years, the village budget has had about a flat or small tax increase in property tax in terms of village budget. In terms of the income that they brought in, I was on part of 2 of those and voted on 2 of those to keep it flat or even. It's going to come to roost. Next spring, this board is going to have to decide on another budget. When that budget comes forward, it's going to go up. I mean, this is just a prediction, in my opinion on it. It's going to go up. There was board members on this board now when I voted to keep the 2% tax cap in place. There was board members on this board that wanted to go above that 2% tax cap in this last budget, and they're going to have the opportunity to do that again in the spring. So it's going to go up. So we need to get taxpayers in here. And then back to the pilot program, what you were talking about, Wendy. She was saying about several properties within the village that are paying more than $7,500 in taxes. Absolutely. And they're just to put 1 or 2 nice big homes up there. One home would pay what the tax is. The other part about a pilot, I don't know the pilot is being considered here, if it's 15-year, 30-year, whatever it is, 15-year. 15 years, that pilot payment in lieu of taxes, it's a fixed cost model. It gives the developer assurances to basically do their budget. And it gives, I mean, it's in terms of they know their schedule of what they're going to pay for taxes over 15 years. The rest of you, if taxes go up next year, is it fixed or do you pay whatever the price increase is? You pay what the increase is.
So there's escalations, so it goes up.
Yeah, it goes up by a percentage, probably 5, 10, 15, something like that. But they have a fixed model. If taxes, next year, if this village decides next year that, you know what, we're going to go ahead and we're going to raise 5%, 10%, 15, 20%, whatever it is, that's what your taxes are going up. All the pilot programs, they're paying whatever their schedule is. If it goes past that, they're still paying their schedule. Just for information. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Capri. I've lived in Owego most of my life. I am a school teacher at OFA. I've been teaching there for 10 years. And not really know much about taxes. I'm only 32. But what I do know is I know people. And it's scary to me because I just got married. I've lived in Owego pretty much my whole life. I love Owego. My husband and I are looking for a home. And it breaks my heart. We're no longer looking in Owego. I always thought I would live in Owego forever, but most likely that's not going to happen for us. I look at my friends, most of the school teachers that are between 30 and 40, at least at OFA. There's only 2 of us that live in Owego. Nobody else wants to live in Owego. My husband's friends, most of them are engineers at Lackey. None of them live in Owego. So I understand there's a lot of money stuff going on, but what I think we need to think about too is people my age. We are kind of the people who like to go, and we really like to support our community. We like to go to dinner. We like to meet our friends. We like to do the painting classes. We like to do what is offered. And we want to bring families here. We want to raise kids here. The housing isn't great. We look at the taxes. It's just not a place where people my age want to settle down. And so if more and more of us are leaving or no one's coming, who's going to be left in 10, 20 years? Just one more point to think about too is, like I said, I'm at OFA, been there 10 years. And in the last couple of years, talking to seniors, nobody says they want to come back to Owego and live in Owego. So if our young people don't even want to stay here, I think that's kind of scary. And like I said, I don't know much about the money aspect of it, but I know people, and it breaks my heart that I don't even want to really stay in Owego anymore. So if I know who's like, I would consider myself one of the biggest advocates of Owego, it's just scary to think about other people my age and what's gonna happen to, you know, the place I grew up, and the place I really love, and that's a scary thought too, so just something to kind of consider as to which way maybe would help bring in people more my age, to bring in some money, and bring in some life, and energy and excitement, because that's what all communities want, and that's why people go there, so.
So are you not staying here because of the tax rate?
Well, my husband and I are looking at a lot of different things. Obviously, being a school teacher, I think Owego and results show one of the top districts in the southern tier. And that's a big thing. So we're looking at either Vestal or ME districts that also have really high taxes, but their housing is, there's just so much more to offer, the communities, the little neighborhoods, things like that. So looking at different projects, what we could do with that land. Well, if we can make some nice housing, if it's gonna be developed, people my age wanna buy those type of houses. If we have the money, we wanna do that, we wanna bring it in. So, it just seems to me like, how are you gonna bring in people my age and the next generation? Because that's what's gonna keep Owego standing. And that's just something to really consider is when we talk about the future. Not that everybody here does not look close to 32, I'm not saying that. But sooner or later, it's going to be scary who's going to be sitting in this room. Because I think maybe there's one other lady maybe close to my age in this room. Who else is going to be here? What if it's just people my age, no one's going to be here. So that's scary to think about. So just a different perspective for you. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Oh.
I'm going to read to you a letter that we're presenting to the board right now.
Can't
You
hear
can't
you.
hear you.
So I'm going to read to you a letter that we're presenting to the board to put in for file. And it says, continuing with our letter of October 1st, 2018, in support of this application for rezoning this 19-acre property, we request that the board consider the following supporting arguments. We have heard concern that an R3 rezoning could result in an intensity that could be objectionable. To eliminate that concern, we could agree to limit the development of the R3 to no greater than what would be permitted as of right by the existing R2 zoning two-family per lot build-out. Any areas beyond what is needed for this R2 facility, plus the roads, could be covenanted as open space belonging to the facility. The question before the board should be, does the property as this R3 meet the long and short-term village objectives? And has the testimony of the applicant, including the conclusion of the 2018 Tiger Housing Report, prove that the R3 request meets the comprehensive plan and is in the best interest of the village? If so, the R3 zoning should be granted, and thereby acknowledging our rights to the legal use of our property. You know, you talk about that horizon over there. That horizon is just above all of that property that all of you have lived over there, enjoying that property for many, many, many years. And we have an opportunity here to do something we feel would benefit Owego. I listened, it's sad what I hear. And we have an opportunity to do something that we feel would benefit this community. And I'm just sorry that you're turning it away and you're turning it away. Obviously, we're going to benefit too, but I think Owego does need a lot of things. And I just think this is an opportunity to help Owego grow and grow into a bigger, better place for your future.
So, you know, we'd like Owego to be better too, but pay your fair share of taxes, and I have no problem with letting go. We cannot afford to pay taxes for other people. And if you can't understand that, I feel sorry for you, but you can't get blood from a stone, and you're gonna have more people leaving Owego. I mean, we're already paying for, what's his name? Bruce Nelson's place on Front Street. Didn't we pay for the other one on
Owego
Main
Gardens.
Street? We're paying for Jeff Poole to have a casino. I mean, this is insane. We're
Not
paying-
insane. The mayor actually properly pointed out that the speculation on what could or could not happen in an R3 is not the issue here tonight, okay? That's number one. So a lot of the comments here that have been made, again, speculating on what the use possibly could be and the consequences of that are not the issue. The issue is, what is the legal use of an R3, and that is what we're requesting the board to grant for this property, of all of the legal issues, all the legal issues to an R3. That's all. All right? The next, the taxes are going to be paid. There've been extensive presentations of what would be paid by taxes if that property were to be built under a prospective pilot program. However, that is not the issue. The issue is, will this property deserve the treatment of a fair hearing by this board for consideration as an R3? And now, particularly in view of the offer to covenant all of the open space beyond what the as-of-right number of units is for the R2, for the village to walk away from that, it's silly. This is a benefit to the village. You want open space, it's being provided. So as far as the taxes are, the taxes come out as what is New York state law. Fight the legislature, not us, and fight your own tax assessor who's putting the value on it. That's where these taxes come from. It's not our decision.
But even if they assess the property at a higher tax rate, I understand that there's New York state law that says when you have that type of complex built, you can only charge a certain amount.
Okay, November 11th, get your guy out of the office who voted that, who offered that tax structure. We didn't do that. We have a right to this property. We have the right to the use of this property legally. Everything has been said, do nothing on this property. That's unfair.
You have the right
For
to
show
sell
of
the
hands,
property.
if we ask for show of hands, how many people are in favor of the rights of use to private property?
You have the right.
You have the
Sell it
right,
to a
Okay,
private
but we
so-
don't have to pay for it. That's
Why
my
do you
point.
speculate that you're gonna have to pay for
Sell
it?
it to a private individual.
Because time and time again, we are paying for it.
We're not paying for it.
Mayor,
Thank you, though.
this is, and thank you for stating what the scope of this hearing is. And it's not about taxes, it's not about ambulance, it's not about streets and roads, it's not about sidewalks.
She was first, I understand that.
Go ahead, sir. I got all night.
I don't, I'm sorry.
That's
but
okay, I do.
Thank you so much. My name is Len Manzai. And first, I'd like to thank Mr. Ruiz for sharing certainly a lot of knowledge. He's done a lot of research, and I know when he was on the board in the past, finance was his bailiwick. That was one thing he looked at for our taxes and trying to make this an affordable area for us to live in. All that being said, we have two trustees who aren't here tonight. I think out of fairness for representation of all members of our village, I would ask that no action be taken on this tonight. Thank you, and thank you very much for letting me have the floor.
Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, thank you. I also have, these are a lot of signatures from individuals in the area. Would prefer not be rezoned. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor, can we get a copy of that, please?
Can I
Yeah.
speak now?
Yeah, Lisa, go ahead.
All right. Most of you know me because I am your neighbor, not yours. Most of you in here know me because you shop in my store, which I own a business that in less than 2 weeks will be celebrating 45 years in business in the village of Owego. My husband and I, thank you very much. It's a small business, that's not a small feat, and we're very proud of that. My husband and I own several properties in the village of Owego. Every single one of them almost pays more than $7,500 a year in village taxes. So, you know, I'm not opposed to this property being sold. I hope that it is. And I mean that to every single one of you. I hope that it is. If I had known it was for sale, I would have been in conversations with you.
It might be a damage.
Well, then we'll talk. You know, I'm not opposed to someone bringing in houses onto this property that meet the criteria if I were to build on this. If I'm gonna build 40 units, am I gonna be paying $7,500? Hell no. The village cannot continue to do these pilots. We can't. I love the village of Owego like there's no tomorrow. I just keep resisting. You know, you ask my husband, he's wanted to leave for a number of years. This is home. This is where we raised our children. This is where we have our business. This is where my heart is. But even I can't continue to lose everything we have because the taxes keep going up and up and up. And why do they keep going up? Because of projects like this. I don't blame the developer, just like I don't blame Bruce Nelson for building what he did. Hell, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, a couple $1 million, why not? You know. But I'm saying to you, the village of Owego, the community that lives here, the taxpayers, the renters, they can't afford this. So in changing it from an R2 to an R3, you're making it easier for the developer to do what they want to do. That's what's before the board. Okay? You can turn it over and give it to the zoning board. There is a zoning board for the village of Owego. You don't have to make that decision. You can make a decision to send it to zoning. Or you can simply say, you know what? I think the village residents have spoken and said they can't handle anymore. I hope and pray that every one of you have listened to everybody. And I, again, okay? That's all.
Mayor, what standing does the zoning board have in this matter?
So
None.
the zoning board is a zoning board of appeals, so they
Yes.
actually don't hear cases to rezone land.
Yes, they do. I sat on the zoning board for 15 years. We absolutely heard cases for rezoning
We provide a recommendation
from the board.
to this board. Sure.
So, members of the board, we received what could be, I cannot certify it, but it could be a valid protest petition under section 7708 of the New York State Village Law. Under that provision, there are two groups of property owners who have the right to object to a potential rezoning. They are property owners within 100 feet of the proposed parcel immediately adjacent, and also property owners within 100 feet of the property located directly across the street from the proposed property. If this petition is found to be valid and qualifies as an appropriate protest petition, the requirement for voting would increase from a simple majority to a 3/4 vote. So instead of 4 out of 7, would require 5 out of 7 votes. My recommendation to the board would be to table this matter, to present this petition to your assessor to make the required determination. If it does properly constitute a proper protest petition, there are several signatures, but again, the only relevant signatures are property owners within 100 feet of the subject parcel, so she will have to go through these names to make that determination. I would, however, recommend that you close your public hearing.
We should close the hearing.
You should
rather
close.
than leaving it open.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mayor, set to close the public hearing for all submissions, verbal and written.
If that's up to you.
Yeah, basically we would close the
Unless
public hearing.
he has something additional he wants to submit to us, I guess, right?
Right on.
To add now, no, I don't want to add anything now, but can you leave it open for the applicant to submit?
No,
Oh,
we
we-
have to be open for everybody to submit. If you
Can
leave
we
it
get a-
open, it's open. If you close it, it's closed to all.
Okay. Can we get a copy of the petition you received?
Sure, just not tonight, we don't have a copy here.
Okay.
We'll hear something.
Can you just give me 1 moment, please? We close.
That also, by the way, might assist you with your lack of a fully constituted board tonight.
Mayor, if you choose to close, we have no objection.
Is the meeting still open, the hearing still open or closed?
Currently, yes. Do you have anything?
Okay, yeah, I'm Tony Weiser, I've lived in the village 25 years, raised my family here, live here, pay taxes here, own 2 properties here, have a small business here, struggle like everybody else in the village. This, I believe this property's been open for rezoning from, correct? Can you move that to an R1 zoning? Isn't that the board, isn't that in the board's ability to change the zoning? The owners have applied to rezone the property.
So you can rezone property in, as part of a considered comprehensive plan. You can't spot zone, so I can't tell you right now what's around that property, but for example, you can't drop down a residential zoning classification in the middle of an industrial district, for
Okay.
example.
So that's
Has
in an
to kind
R1,
of-
that's in an R1 district, I
Has to
believe you
match up.
could drop it back to an R1 zone.
They can
Which
do
would help
anything that
everyone.
they want to do, but honestly, it has to be done pursuant to a comprehensive plan.
Okay. But I mean, the IDA has a plan that they need housing in the county. They need high-end housing. A lot of the engineers and stuff from Lockheed are going to Vestal and ME. As discussed, that's in the IDA's plan. They need low-income housing too, but they're already building some low-income housing on the south side project, and that developer's paying prevailing wages, which 2+4 construction isn't. They're not even paying market rate with wages. I've ruined a lot of people's days.
I just want to quickly add to this point. Currently in an R2 district, if the Nobilettis and had found a developer willing to build single-family homes, they can do that as of right as an R2 district.
Okay. That would fit more in the area with an R1 zoning. I have a question too. The trustees, are they all fiduciaries for the village? Fiduciary? The trustees of the village are fiduciaries, correct? Okay. Just making sure that everybody understands what the fiduciary is. What's that? They're on the hook.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Personally.
Oh,
Personally. Thank you.
All right, anybody else for the public hearing?
I'm Judy Restock. I live in the Halsted development. It is an R1 residential area. It is the only R1 residential neighborhood in the entire village. Most of us have signed a petition. We're upset about this. We do not want to see an R3 adjacent to our properties. I mean, nobody would. We're an R1 neighborhood. We haven't built any new R1 housing in years, and that's what we really need. This young lady, she wants a house with a master bedroom suite, with an ensuite, with a walk-in
We
closet.
could go all night on that.
Those are the kind of housing we need to keep the executives and the upper middle class to stay in the village and build their property tax. We don't need more low-income housing. We don't need more apartments. We got got Dean's couple on Dean Street, we've got one on Southside Drive. I mean, we've got that kind of housing. Well, and we've got all those big old houses downtown that are subdivided into apartments. Because you lost that R1 neighborhood. You lost that a long time ago. It's all broke, everybody has apartments in those houses. We have single-family homes, and we love our neighborhood. We want it to stay single-family homes.
Amen.
We want more of them. We have people buying up in that neighborhood. When they see what is going in nearby, they're not gonna wanna buy. You're upsetting your property owners who are paying the top taxes up on the hill. We're not happy with this. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but this is the way it is. You've got a petition there. My name's on that petition, and so are my neighbors. We're not happy. We vote, and we're not happy. Just to be really blunt about this, we don't want to see R3 anywhere near our property. We fought off R2 before, trying to creep up our hill. That was back when I was on the board. We don't want this. There isn't anybody on my hill that I know of that wants it. Think about how many houses are up there, how many taxpayers, and how many voters. Because that's just the way it is. We want to see housing that this young woman would buy and stay in our neighborhood, and stay in our village. That's what we want. We want more R1 housing. You're not worried about that at all. Your R1 neighborhood is on the brink of going away. You want to build on that because you need all layers of an economy in your village. You can't just have subsidized housing or apartments or whatever. You need people who are paying taxes and want to be there and want to build our community. And I've lived there, I don't know, since my kids started school pretty much. They're grown and gone. But I want young families moving in. I want young families staying in Owego like this woman. And what you're talking about for this rezoning to R3 is never going to give us that. You know, I don't mean to be a naysayer, but it's just not. And I hope you think long and hard about that. Thank you.
All right, anybody else for the public hearing?
Yes, I'm gonna just close, Mayor. This is with the possibility to stay at levels of R2 and the density of R2 for this dwelling residential use and its consistency with the comprehensive plan and the county plan in support. We feel we've met on many criteria why the board should approve this and that this is a productive use that should be approved. And to deny us this based on speculations is unfair to us as the owner of the property and to use it in a productive, useful way. Thank you.
Anybody else? Possibly close the public hearing. Okay, so, we close the public hearing? And we heard from, there's about 40 people here tonight, and there's 50 people the other time, so. It is 8:02.
I do have one question. When do we know is?
So, we will have to vote. That's probably, we have a motion, we have to,
Yes. Well, yeah.
I think we should because of
Yeah,
petition.
right.
I mean, I think we don't know at this point how
We
many
don't know.
votes we need.
How many votes we even need?
So,
Don't you need 4 votes as always to pass anything as a village board?
no.
No,
If there's a protest
There's a
petition
petition.
submitted under New York state law, it kicks in a supermajority requirement. So 5 out of 7 as opposed to 4 out of 7. Also, for example, if the county planning board had recommended denial, which they did not, they recommended approval, that's another incident in which 4 out of 5 or a supermajority is required. So there are times when it's more than a certain, just a majority. And it's not the majority of those present, It's a majority of the fully constituted board. So even if people are absent, they still count in the majority requirement.
So we
So
don't
we're gonna
know.
need to give this to your assessor and give him or her some time to evaluate it.
All right, so motion to table, so that we can do some.
Right, so we can do more research.
Yeah.
You close the public hearing or you're not? You
Yeah.
should decide what you're doing
Oh, I
with the
thought-
meeting
oh, I'm
first.
sorry.
Yeah, we close that 8.
Okay. Public hearing is closed. So what we'll do is have another meeting. So the assessor will evaluate the protest. If it's whatever his determination is, the board will reconvene and they will vote on the rezoning application. Whether they need 4 votes or 5 votes, we don't know yet.
The community is not gonna be aware of the vote until it's done.
Well, you're welcome to attend the meeting.
Yeah, more likely to be at our next meeting. Before everybody leaves, I'll take this time to plug our downtown revitalization initiative. All had great ideas for that land. That's in the zone. There's a public meeting the 24th, right here. Come back with your ideas.
Okay, so motion to table.
You make a motion to table?
Yep. Protest petition to the assessor for verification.
I second that.
Yes.
It's been submitted, so, and the public hearing.
Yes.
That's up to the mayor.
But
Here's, there's another, sign if you want to allow
I say we built 100 units over there.
Mr. Mayor, are you doing public comment next, or are you going into the agenda?
we can do public comment quick, yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
I have public comment on another subject.
Okay, good.